Hello everyone, and welcome back to Art Chat. I'm Marge Lee, and today we're chatting with artist David Tompkins. Welcome, David.
Hi, Marge. Thank you. Welcome. Glad you're visiting.
It's a delight to be here in your wonderful apartment. And
Thank you.
we're sitting here to talk about your art, and on the table before us we have a shampoo bottle and toilet bowl cleaner.
Yes. Yes.
Talk to us about this, David.
After I studied industrial design at Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, the first job that I had was working on Madison Avenue with a firm called Walter Darwin Teague Associates, and we did this bottle there. This was one of the first assignments that I had, and it's the first thing that I ever did that was actually on the market. Our charge was to design a 28-ounce container for Head and Shoulders liquid. So we had to figure out the shape, the form, how the screw thread was going to go on, all that sort of thing. And this was a later assignment, but it was the same general idea. Except in this case, we also had to we designed the automatic dispenser system. If you remember this, it hung upside down in the toilet bowl.
I do remember that.
Had that clip, and the water came up and put out 3 ounces and thing.
I thought that was pretty nifty.
I did too, thank you.
So industrial design, I think that's a term that a lot of people are not familiar with. And here is an example.
My career is based on product design, and this is designing, in this case it was a multi-function tool designed to compete with Shopsmith.
And this is an original drawing.
This is an original drawing. It's done with ink and magic markers, and very typical of industrial design, particularly in the 60s and the 70s. And into the 80s, before computers got into it.
And so here we have another example. A lot of people, I think, will remember this.
Yeah. In the 80s, I was the head of design at RCA Consumer Electronics.
Well, from industrial design, we're going to talk about your fine arts work. So let's talk about that next. And we've got a lot of examples on the wall right behind us. So let's talk about that. David, here we are looking at your wonderful fine art work, and the folks who went to the Ageless Creativity exhibition might recall this wonderful work. Talk to us about that.
Both watercolor with India ink on it. The Byrne Davis said, "You can't work small," and I don't work any bigger than that, so I thought, I'll do a second one, frame it all together, and it will meet the size requirement. And it did. It worked out.
And it's lovely. It has this sort of misty effect of the watercolor, but then you got the sharpness with the ink. It's very interesting.
The technique is do the watercolor first, then enhance it with the drawing. It isn't draw first and fill in the lines, so that's fun.
Yeah, and here I think many folks identify with this. Tell us about this scene.
Actually, this was a present from my wife, done quite a while ago, but there isn't any drawing on this. Both of these are just pure brushwork.
Brushwork, and this is Sanibel, isn't it?
Yeah. That's Sanibel Lighthouse.
And where's this?
That's it's over the waterfront restaurant on North Captiva Island.
Oh, and that's still there, isn't it?
It is still there. It's busy. It's successful. And this other stuff is done by former employees, clients who began painting.
Now, I know people are going to look at this and say, what is a story? I know it's not your work, but tell us what this story is.
The last position that I had, this was after RCA, I was recruited by an international plastics company to start an internal design group for them. They would make experimental mixes of plastic, polypropylene. They'd simply let the plastic dribble out on the floor and throw it away. And I was down there one day and I said, hey, that one's, yeah, I want that. And then this one was even more fun. It's just extruded nozzles of molten plastic braiding itself into an alien brain. I like this.
Well, speaking of creatures, let's go to the rest of the studio and have a fun look at something that's waiting for us there.
Okay,
Lead the way.
here we go.
So David, I feel like we need that music from Jaws, you know, do, 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 do. People, again, who went to Ageless Creativity will remember these wonderful creatures.
Creatures, beach monsters.
Beach monsters. One of the judges especially loved these. And I think this is an example of an artwork where at first you look at it, you're puzzled, then you're engaged, and then you really begin to see the creative genius.
Oh,
Talk to us about these wonderful creatures.
living on North Captiva for all those years, beachcombing, especially with Christy Anders and looking for turtle crawls at 6 o'clock in the morning, you find all kinds of beach stuff, skulls, bones, shells.
Oh, this is a root. Oh,
This is a root, yeah, it's
interesting.
growing this way.
Uh-huh.
And you find a root and you can look at it and say, oh, that could be
It
a.
speaks to you.
It has a gesture.
Uh-huh.
Then you begin to add things like catfish skulls and jaws and shells and other shells, or the root here is this S-shaped form.
Uh-huh.
That's a bird pelvis, and the eyes are in its socket, in its hip sockets, and these are catfish spines.
Oh my gosh.
And the way these things are done, I have in my hand are little jaw gill rakers and things from a large fish that I found on the beach. And they can be assembled, so I can just slip it in with a bit of glue. That's a heron skull.
Ah, there it is.
And again, one of those strange roots that suggested a dancer or something. A lot of action in this one.
David, I want to thank you for joining us today on Art Chat. This has been great fun. And we just are delighted to be able to see the completion of an artwork here.
That's very good.
So-
I'm glad you came over.
Well,
It's
thank
fun to
you.
do.
Thank you. And thanks to all of you for joining us on another Art Chat. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.